Why emotionally intelligent people choose silence over conflict. There comes a moment in life when words are no longer bridges, they become weapons. And in that moment, those who are truly wise don't reach for louder voices. They don't dig deeper into argument or pride. They choose silence, not because they're weak, not because they've lost, but because they've grown. In a world obsessed with winning arguments, being right, and having the last word, choosing not to speak is an act of radical strength. And emotionally intelligent people know this. They've learned through bruised hearts and humbled egos that silence often says what words never can. Let's be honest. We all have the urge to defend ourselves when we feel misunderstood, attacked, or provoked. It's human. The impulse is ancient, wired into our biology to protect our sense of identity, our tribe, our place in the world. But emotional intelligence isn't about acting on impulse. It's about understanding the deeper currents beneath our reactions and knowing when speaking only feeds the fire. Emotionally intelligent people have mastered the art of pausing. They've developed the inner radar to sense when a conversation is no longer about truth, but about control, ego, and power. And in those moments, they withdraw, not as an escape, but as a conscious choice. Because they know this. Silence doesn't mean surrender. Silence can be an act of self-respect. It can be a boundary, a refusal to be pulled into someone else's storm. You see, emotional intelligence isn't measured by how quickly someone can argue their point. It's measured by how deeply they understand themselves and others. It's about knowing that not every attack needs a counterattack. Not every insult deserves a defense. And not every battle is worth your peace. We often think of silence as emptiness, a void, a passive retreat. But silence, when chosen consciously, becomes a sacred space, a container where emotions can breathe, where understanding can deepen, where healing can begin. Emotionally intelligent people use silence like a scalpel, not to wound, but to cut through noise, drama, and chaos. They use it to de-escalate, to reflect, to preserve their energy for conversations that matter. Think about it. How many arguments have you had where the goal was no longer to understand but to win? How many times have you left a heated discussion feeling more disconnected, even if you proved your point? That's the illusion of conflict. It makes us believe that louder means stronger and that silence equals weakness. But the strongest people in the room are often the quietest, because strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "I don't need to fight to be at peace." There's an old saying that goes, "Don't wrestle with pigs, you both get dirty," and the pig likes it. Emotionally intelligent people live by that. They understand that some arguments are emotional traps, designed not for resolution, but for provocation. And no matter how well you articulate your thoughts, your words will fall on ears that are already closed. That's when silence becomes a higher form of communication. It says, "I see where this is going, and I choose not to go there." It doesn't humiliate, it doesn't retaliate, it simply exits the stage with grace. And here's the truth, people remember silence. They remember the moment you didn't react, the moment you didn't clap back, the moment you refused to be baited into rage. That quiet restraint, it echoes louder than any shouted insult. Emotional intelligence is rooted in self-awareness. And self-awareness teaches us that most conflicts are mirrors. What people throw at you often has more to do with them than you. Their projections, their wounds, their unspoken fears. When someone lashes out, emotionally intelligent people don't immediately personalize it. They ask deeper questions. What pain are they carrying? What story are they telling themselves? Is this really about me or something much older? This doesn't mean tolerating abuse or disrespect. It means recognizing when a reaction isn't worth your energy. It means responding from wisdom, not woundedness. And sometimes, the wisest response is no response at all. It takes incredible inner maturity to stay silent when your pride is screaming to be heard. To not correct the lie, to not defend your name, to not explain your truth to someone committed to misunderstanding you. But when you've done the inner work, when you've anchored yourself in self-respect and clarity, you realize that silence is not the absence of power. It is the presence of mastery. This mastery shows up in relationships, too. Emotionally intelligent people don't need to dominate a partner to feel secure. They don't yell to feel seen. They don't weaponize silence to punish. They use it to regulate, to step back, to come back with clarity instead of chaos. They know that silence gives space for empathy to grow, that in a pause, there's room for both hearts to soften, that not everything needs to be said in the heat of the moment. Some truths need the cool air of time to find their shape. They've also learned that you can't communicate with someone who's not ready to listen, that shouting into closed ears only creates more distance, and that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away, peacefully, silently, with your dignity intact. This is not detachment, it's discernment. Because emotional intelligence doesn't mean being emotionless. It means knowing your emotions so well that they don't control you. It means feeling the anger, the frustration, the sadness, but not letting it speak for you. It means choosing your peace over your pride. In the age of online outrage, where every opinion is a battle cry and every disagreement a war, emotionally intelligent people are rebels. They choose the harder path, the quieter path, the one that leads inward instead of outward. And on that path, silence becomes a superpower. It gives them room to think before reacting. It helps them observe rather than absorb. It allows them to hold their ground without having to raise their voice. In silence, they protect what truly matters, their inner peace. Because here's the ultimate truth. Nothing is more expensive than a moment of lost control. One word spoken in anger can unravel years of trust. One reckless reply can ignite a fire you never wanted to start. Emotionally intelligent people know this, so they choose to be intentional with their words. And when no words can help, they choose none at all. Their silence is not a void, it's a presence, a statement, a boundary, a decision. It says, I will not trade my peace for your chaos. I will not match your storm with my thunder. I will not participate in this theater of conflict because my energy is sacred. And so they walk away, quietly, calmly, without guilt, because they know that not every battle is theirs to fight, that peace is not the reward, it is the strategy. And silence? That's the sword they carry with elegance and resolve. In a noisy world that rewards reaction, may we all learn from the emotionally intelligent. May we learn that silence is not a weakness to overcome, but a strength to cultivate. A language spoken by those who have nothing to prove and everything to protect. Because in the end, it's not about who shouted loudest, it's about who stayed grounded, who walked away with grace, and who protected their peace, one silent step at a time.